What if there was a way to bypass the Strait of Hormuz completely?
Pain point for the Americans in this war, the Strait of Hormuz.
All thanks to Iran's closure of the Strait of Hormuz.
Strait of Hormuz. Strait of Hormuz.
Right now, the UAE and Saudi Arabia are building exactly that. It's called the Sharjah-Dammam Trade Corridor, sometimes described as a UAE-Saudi trade bridge, a route designed to move cargo around one of the most dangerous choke points on Earth. And the most surprising part? It doesn't go through the sea at all. Instead, it cuts across land, reimagining how goods move between regions that have depended on a single maritime route for decades. At first glance, it sounds counterintuitive. Why move cargo onto land when ships have always been the most efficient way to move goods? But when a single stretch of water controls the flow of the global economy, you start looking for alternatives. And that raises a bigger question. Can this route actually replace the Strait of Hormuz? To answer that, you have to look at the geography. The UAE and Saudi Arabia sit at the center of one of the most important energy-producing regions in the world. But there is one major constraint. Every ship leaving the Persian Gulf must pass through the Strait of Hormuz, a narrow corridor between Iran and Oman, where a significant portion of global oil and gas flows every single day. It is one of the most critical choke points on the planet, and one of the most fragile. Today, this is no longer a theoretical risk. With escalating tensions in the region, the strait has become increasingly unstable. Movement is restricted, risks are rising, and shipments that normally pass through this route are now exposed to delays, disruptions, and uncertainty. Even the threat of disruption is enough to shake global markets. Shipping slows, insurance costs surge, routes become unpredictable, and when uncertainty enters supply chains, costs rise everywhere. For countries trying to position themselves as global logistics hubs, this creates a fundamental weakness, because no matter how advanced your infrastructure is, everything still depends on a single exit point. Please take a moment to subscribe and like the video. It really helps the channel. So instead of relying entirely on the sea, the UAE and Saudi Arabia are taking an unprecedented approach, building a multimodal corridor that shifts cargo from sea to land. At the center of this strategy is one key location: Khorfakkan Port. Unlike most major ports in the region, Khorfakkan sits on the eastern coast of the UAE, directly on the Gulf of Oman, which means ships arriving here never have to pass through the Strait of Hormuz. Cargo can enter directly from the open ocean, avoiding congestion, risk, and delays entirely. This single geographic advantage is what makes the entire corridor possible. Instead of forcing ships through a choke point, the system reroutes trade before it even reaches it. Once cargo arrives at Khorfakkan, it is transferred inland. The next stop is the Sajjad Dry Port in Sharjah, a large bonded logistics hub designed to handle storage, sorting, and customs clearance efficiently. This facility acts as the central processing point. Containers are sorted, consolidated, and prepared for onward movement across the region. From Sajjad, goods move across the UAE using high-capacity road networks and the expanding Etihad rail system. This railway is a critical piece of the puzzle. It is designed to connect all 7 emirates and extend into Saudi Arabia, creating a seamless transport backbone across borders. From the UAE, cargo continues westward into Saudi Arabia, eventually reaching Dammam, one of the kingdom's most important industrial and logistics centers, located on the Gulf Coast. Dammam's King Abdulaziz Port plays a key role here. It acts as a gateway to Saudi Arabia's eastern province, where a large portion of the country's industrial activity is concentrated. From this point, goods can either be distributed across Saudi markets or exported further across the Gulf region. In simple terms, the system works like this: sea to Khorfakkan, land through the UAE rail and road into Saudi Arabia, and then back to sea, or deeper into regional markets. It is a layered, flexible system designed for speed and resilience. This might sound like a massive new mega project, but it isn't. As of March 2026, this is no longer just an idea. Saudi Arabia's Ports Authority and UAE-based operator Gulftainer have formally announced a coordinated partnership to activate this route. And here's what makes it interesting. This isn't new infrastructure. The ports, the roads, and the logistics hubs have existed for years. Corfacan has been operating for decades. Gulf Tainer has managed the terminal since 1986, continuously upgrading its capabilities. The Sharjah dry port has recently been expanded into a major inland logistics hub, and the road connections between the UAE and Saudi Arabia are already active and well developed. What's changed is how these assets are being used. For the first time, they are being integrated into a single multimodal corridor connecting Sharjah directly to Dammam. In other words, this is not a project being built. It's a system that was already there, now being switched on at scale. That is what makes this corridor so powerful. It doesn't rely on building entirely new infrastructure from scratch. Instead, it connects what already exists, which means it can scale much faster than traditional mega projects. And in a region where disruptions can happen without warning, speed is not just an advantage, it's a necessity. Rather than waiting years or decades for new canals or pipelines, this system can respond immediately to changing conditions. This corridor changes how trade can move in the region. Instead of relying entirely on a single maritime choke point, it introduces an alternative pathway, one that avoids Hormuz altogether. In some cases, it is significantly faster. A ship heading toward Saudi Arabia's eastern province would normally have to sail around the Arabian Peninsula and pass through the Strait of Hormuz. By offloading at Corfacan instead, directly on the open ocean, cargo avoids hundreds of nautical miles and bypasses congestion at major ports like Jebel Ali. From there, goods move across land in a controlled logistics environment, where timing is more predictable and less exposed to external disruptions. Even a 24 to 48-hour reduction in transit time can have a major impact. For industries built on tight delivery schedules, that difference can determine efficiency, cost, and competitiveness. And timing here is everything. For decades, the Strait of Hormuz was assumed to be permanently open. That assumption no longer holds, which means routes like this are no longer just backups. They are becoming part of the main system, which raises a bigger question. If this route is faster, safer, and already operational, why isn't everyone using it? Because there are limits. This system works best for containerized and time-sensitive goods, not for everything. It cannot replace the massive volumes of oil and gas that pass through the Strait of Hormuz every day. And shifting cargo from sea to land introduces its own challenges: border procedures, customs coordination, potential delays, and higher transportation costs compared to sea freight. There is also an environmental dimension. Moving goods by truck and rail can increase emissions compared to large-scale maritime transport, especially if volumes scale up significantly. And while this corridor improves resilience, it doesn't eliminate risk. It simply shifts it, from sea to land, from choke points to borders, and from naval threats to logistical complexity. Then there is the issue of capacity. Corfacan and Sharjah are powerful facilities, but they are not designed to handle the full volume of regional trade. Scaling this system significantly will require further expansion and long-term investment. So, can this route replace the Strait of Hormuz? Not even close. It is something more realistic. A diversification strategy, a way to reduce dependence on a single, high-risk route. And this reflects a broader global shift. Countries are no longer relying on one pathway for trade. They are building networks, multiple routes, redundant systems. Because in today's world, resilience matters just as much as efficiency. And sometimes, the smartest infrastructure isn't the biggest. It's the one that gives you another option. This is not an alternative to Hormuz. It is a backup